I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I don't feel the same way that a lot of you folks do about Florida State being a playoff team this year. I get that they got robbed of the postseason last year, and I definitely agree. It was bullshit what the committee did to snub those boys and leave them out because of Jordan Travis' injury. Like, I understand where they were coming from, but at the same time, FSU earned the right to be in the playoffs, and it got that taken away from them. But that was last year. It's 2024, and my problem with FSU is that people aren't judging this team for what they are this year. And that is a team that is nowhere close to as good as what we saw in 2023. That was one of the best FSU rosters that they've ever had. All the guys they put in the NFL receivers that Jordan Travis was throwing to, they do not have that this year. And they don't have a Jordan Travis at QB. They have a downgrade from Jordan Travis at quarterback. And his name is DJ Uiagalelei. And this is the best, most garbage quarterback that I've ever watched in my life. If you watch DJ Uiagalelei play, you will understand what I mean by that. There are moments where you see him make a big throw and tight coverage downfield, and you say, ooh, great throw, DJ. And then he'll have some really good runs too, but then he'll have some moments that'll make you go, what the hell were you doing throwing that ball, DJ? Do you have tunnel vision? Do you need to get your eyes checked out there? And my biggest problem with DJ Uiagalelei is the fact that at Oregon State last year, he completed less than 60% of his passes in 8 out of 12 of their games last year, which is not good. Against top 25 teams, he completed only 53% of his passes and had a TD-INT ratio of 4-4, which also isn't impressive. And he was terrible in the fourth quarter of games where Oregon State was playing from behind. He only completed 48% of his passes in the fourth quarter of games last year with 5 touchdowns to go along with 4 interceptions. Florida State does have a really good coaching staff, a good offensive coordinator, and Mike Norvell is really good with quarterbacks. But there's only so much that you can get out of a dude like DJU who's going into what? Year 20 of his eligibility? Like, for all we know, he's going to find a way to get another year next year. At this point, you could only expect gradual improvement from somebody like DJU. It's similar to Sam Hartman. When he got to Notre Dame after transferring from Wake Forest, he was only going to improve so much. The player that you're getting now is most likely the player that you're going to get come this season. The DJU that we've seen at Oregon State and Clemson the last couple of years is going to be the same one that we see at Florida State this season. And why do I feel so strongly about that? Well, because I watched that spring game and it wasn't pretty. He was throwing balls in the dirt. There were some dropped interceptions, some of them that I felt were dropped on purpose just to not make DJ look that bad. Now, it wasn't all of DJ's fault why he didn't play good in the spring game for the Seminoles. The wide receiving core wasn't that good neither. One of your best wideouts didn't even get a chance to finish the game because he got injured. And overall, your wide receiver room doesn't have the same juice this year that it had last year. Last year, you had, 2-3 NFL wide receivers on your squad? You don't have that this year. You got guys that have high upside, like Ja'Kai Douglas, who is the best, most productive wideout that they have returning going into this year. You got Alabama transfer Malik Benson, who has high potential, but he hasn't really proven anything at this point of his career. So I think that FSU's offense is really going to have some games where they struggle. This isn't a team that you can just look at and say, oh yeah, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win. Like, the game against Miami could go either way. The game against Notre Dame and Clemson can go either way. Like, no. There are some games that Florida State could lose this year that they have no business losing because of DJU. When you have an inconsistent quarterback that has shaky accuracy and he's throwing to a wide receiving core that has just as many questions as what we have about him, that's the recipe for a team that ends up underachieving. Florida State hasn't recruited at the level the last couple of years where they can just reload and they don't have to rebuild. They are a team that has had the success that they had last season because Mike Norvell has done a great job of utilizing both the transfer portal and high school recruiting and getting some guys from the transfer portal that weren't just 1 year eligibility guys. He got Jordan Travis and Johnny Wilson where they still had several years to play, and he was able to develop those guys. Same thing with the recruits. You got to be able, if you're Florida State, to do a better job at recruiting if I'm going to take you more seriously as a consistent playoff contender every single year. I view Florida State as one of those schools that every 3 years, they're primed to have a big season where they could win it all. But most years, they're probably a 9-win team, maybe 10-win team at best. I don't see Florida State being a playoff caliber team with the question marks that they have at wide receiver and DJU being an inconsistent quarterback. And I think they could be a 3-4 loss team this year. I could see them losing on the road against SMU. SMU is ready for the ACC. They are a really underrated team with a great coaching staff. Clemson could be a loss. Miami could be a loss. Notre Dame on the road. And South Bend, we know how tough it is to win up there. That could be a loss. Even Florida, your arch rival, they could beat you this year because you have a quarterback that has not been able to give you high-level play in big games. And that's not me hating. You can go check the stats for yourself against top 25 teams. DJU completes under 60% of his passes, and he isn't that good. There's a reason why this dude is still playing college football. I just don't see the hype with Florida State being a playoff team this upcoming season.